I'm going to show you how to replace the top keyboard bezel of a Acer C738T Chromebook. We got one here that is missing a key. It is possible to replace these keys if you have all the bits and pieces needed, but for the purposes of this video, we're just going to go ahead and replace the entire bezel. So, go ahead and close it up. Now we'll start by removing the 11 screws on the back cover here. Alright, so all the screws are removed. Take a little pry tool, and you'll notice a little notch kind of right around here in the gap in the case. Go ahead and stick your pry tool right in there. Kind of start separating the rear panel here. Might have to get it in a couple places. And then once it's free, just kind of go ahead and slowly take it off of the back here. Now if you notice, there is a cable here connecting the side I/O to the main board here, so careful not to just rip the cover off. So first thing we'll do is disconnect the battery. Just by disconnecting this connector here. Alright, once that's done, we can disconnect the side I/O off the back panel here. And some of these cables do have a bit of adhesive on the back, so just kind of gently pull those off. Alright, we can get rid of the back cover for now. Alright. Now to remove the battery, there's 2 screws, one on each side. Let's go ahead and unscrew the battery. Go ahead and lift it up and pull it out. Set that aside. Okay, at this point there's a little piece of Kapton tape holding the keyboard cable secure. Just gently peel that off. I'd just like to set it aside there. Now we can go around and start disconnecting cables. I kind of like to go in a particular direction, that way you don't miss anything. So we'll just kind of go and remove the front I/O LED board. Actually, we'll just go ahead and take that out. Basically, everything needs to be removed from this keyboard assembly and placed into the new one. Alright, once that's off, we can disconnect the keyboard cable. Just by gently prying it out of there. Same with the touchpad. And the speakers. Speaker one can be a little tricky. Sometimes it's easier to release this piece of tape here first before you try to pull the connector out. So what we're going to do is kind of gently pry the speakers up and unroute the cable. Same thing for the right speaker. It's just held down by some foam sticky tape. Alrighty. And then slowly peel off this very sticky tape. we have that, we can disconnect the speakers. And move them out of the way. Alrighty, so next step, let's bring the new bezel in. We're going to need to transfer the touchpad to the new bezel. That is held down by some tape and 3 screws. So we'll go ahead and lift the tape off of the old bezel here. Some conductive tape and then this other piece. Ready? Remove the 3 screws. Ready? Pull the assembly towards you after you release a little bit of that. Good. Alrighty, so this is the touchpad assembly. Just go ahead and put that over here. There are little nubs on the bottom that grab the bottom here, so just go ahead and make sure you slide it under those, and then it'll snap into place. Re-secure it with the screws. And just snug them up. You can also reapply this tape here, as well as the conductive piece. Okay. So now at this point what we can do is rotate the Chromebook here. I like to always keep everything oriented the same, helps to avoid confusion. Alrighty, now there's 4 hinge screws, 2 on each side. But first we can actually go ahead and disconnect the touchscreen cable, and then your panel. Just go ahead and get those cables right out of the way, as well as the wireless NIC and coaxes here, the mini coaxes. Just remember the orientation, so you can remember white's closest to the hinge, or the way you're looking at it, black, white. Just remember which cable goes where. Pop those off. Unscrew the card. At this point, there's no cables connected. We can go remove these 4 hinge screws. Alrighty, we'll set this aside for a second. Now, if you take the old bezel here, kind of rotate it up carefully to about 45 degrees, and bring it back down, it'll release from the hinges, and then you can set the screen aside. However, at this point I like to give the screen a little cleaning because they tend to get quite dirty. So, just kind of use a little screen cleaner here. Wipe it down. And we'll set the screen aside for now. Alright, now we can come back to the bezels here. Now, at this point, the only thing holding the main board in here, main system board, is 3 screws located down the center. So we'll go ahead and remove those. Alrighty. Now, if you notice, there's a sill pad that is included with the new bezel here, so just go and take off this little protective covering, and then we can pull off the system board here, and then make sure when you're transferring the system board that the old sill pad does not go over to the new one. So we'll just kind of peel that off carefully, and then just kind of put that right back there. And this old bezel is no longer needed, so we can go and set that aside. Now go and take the system board. There are little nubs that will help you align this into place, so just make sure there's nothing underneath, and go ahead and place the system board back in. Place the 3 screws. Now there are little arrows that will let you know which hole needs to have a screw. So we will place these back in here. And it is important that you get this screw back in its proper location, which is on the end here. And just kind of snug these down. Alrighty. At this point we can basically just work backwards. So we will bring the screen back in here. And then bend the hinges back down. Now the hinges also have little nubs that they will realign themselves on. Right, like so. You can see there's a nub there and a nub there. Okay, at this point, we'll just kind of start rerouting our cables. Start connecting our touch cable. And the display cable. There we go. Make sure everything sits down in its proper cable channel. Alrighty. We can insert the 4 screws for the hinges. Again, there are little arrows pointing to which holes the screws go into. And then once they're all in, just go ahead and snug them all down. You don't need to go crazy, just make sure they're tight. And then we can put in the Wi-Fi module. And then remember, white was closest to the hinge here. And these just kind of press on there. Okay, those are on. Let's see, at this point we can kind of double check. Yes, we're all connected. Flip the Chromebook back around. And then we can put the speakers back in. So again, there's little alignment nubs here. Just kind of put the speakers over that. And you can route the cables back in the cable pathway. Okay. Once that's there, we can get this connected and retaped. Alrighty, the speakers are back in. We can connect the trackpad to the motherboard. And these cables just kind of slide in and then go ahead and bring the little door down. Now this one's different. You pull out this little catch here, you go ahead and slide in so that the tabs catch and the line is even with the edge of the connector. And go ahead and push in these tabs. Double check that, okay. Now we can put in the front LED board. Alrighty, at this point I like to kind of double check, make sure everything is connected and attached. Oops. And I missed the LED board, so I'll go ahead and connect that. Alrighty, now everything's attached. We can get a little piece of Kapton tape, put that back over the keyboard connector. Then you can bring the battery back in. The battery kind of slips underneath these little clips in the front here, so we'll put it that way and then set it in. Reapply the screw on each side. And before we reconnect the battery, we will bring in the rear bezel, or cover. Go ahead and reconnect that. Alrighty, once that's in, we can reconnect the battery. So, alrighty, and then let's go ahead and do one final check, make sure everything's still connected, that you didn't miss anything. Alrighty, so everything's connected. We'll go ahead and put the back cover back on. There's some clips here that you're going to want to go ahead and clip the bottom two first, and then just kind of push the cover towards the back, and it will snap into place. Make sure there's no big gaps. Okay. Once that's in, go ahead and put in the screws that hold on the back cover here. And once all the screws are in, I like to go back around and just snug them all up. Alright. So now the Chromebook's back together. And now, when you open it back up, if you're used to it booting right away, it's not going to. As soon as you take them apart, it will not auto boot on the next restart. So, to make that happen, just go ahead and connect your power adapter. You'll get two blue lights. And then once you see that, just go ahead and open it up and press the power and the device will boot. So there you go. And that's all there is to replacing the keyboard and front bezel on a Acer C738T Chromebook.